Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika, and today let us study a new chapter from class level, that is breathing and exchange of gases. So we all know that human beings undergo different life processes for our survival. The different life processes are such as excretion, circulation, then transportation, etc. But there is another important life process, that is respiration, which is very essential process in our survival. So today in this video let us learn in detail about what is respiration and how the process of respiration takes place in human beings in our chapter breathing and exchange of gases. So what is breathing? So breathing is the process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere with carbon dioxide produced by the cells is called as breathing. It occurs in two stages of inspiration and expiration. During inspiration, air enters the lungs from the atmosphere, and during expiration, air leaves the lungs. So basically, in the process of breathing, what happens is oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. So breathing takes place in two stages, that is inspiration and expiration. So inspiration as in taking in of air, that is taking in of oxygen. So this step is called as inspiration. And giving out of oxygen, carbon dioxide, is called as expiration. So when these two steps, that is the inspiration and expiration, takes place simultaneously, this process is called as breathing. Okay, so this process takes place in our lungs. So now let us see how this breathing and where this breathing happens. So this happens in the human respiratory system. So let us see what is the structure of human respiratory system. So human respiratory system consists of a pair of nostrils. So it consists of a pair of nostrils, then pharynx, larynx, bronchi, bronchioles, that finally terminates into the alveoli. So these are the parts of the human respiratory system. So the nasal chamber opens into the pharynx that leads to the larynx. Larynx contains the voice box, that is the sound box that helps in the sound production. Then the trachea, the primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi and initial bronchioles are supported by incomplete cartilaginous rings to prevent collapsing in the absence of air. And each bronchiole terminates into an irregular walled vascularized bag-like structure called as alveoli. So let us understand this with a figure. So this is the figure which represents the human respiratory system. So the human respiratory system starts with what? Nostrils. So nostrils, then after that the part which is the larynx, then comes your tracheas. Tracheas then will branch into primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles, okay, bronchi, and then this bronchi will terminate into a balloon-like structure called as the alveoli. Then there are two lungs. This is the lungs. These are the lungs, and this trachea will branch into primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles, and the bronchioles will then form a balloon-like structure called as the alveoli. So this is the structure of a human respiratory system. Okay, so the lungs are covered with ribs, which protects which helps in the protection of the lungs, and also there is a diaphragm below the lungs. Okay, so this is the structure of the human respiratory system. So the human respiratory system is divided into two parts. is divided into two parts. So the first part is called the conducting part, and the second part is called the exchange part. So conducting part includes what? The nostrils. The conducting part will include what? The nostrils, the pharynx, larynx, tracheas, which are the main, and the main function of this is to transport the atmospheric air into the alveoli and removing the foreign particles from air, humidifying it and bringing it to the body temperature. So the main function of nostrils, pharynx, larynx and tracheas is transport of atmospheric air into the alveoli, removing the foreign particles from the air and humidifying it and bringing it down to the human body temperature. And the second part, which is the exchange part of the respiratory system, that is the alveoli, it is the site of actual diffusion of the carbon between blood and the atmospheric air. Okay, so this is how the respiratory system is divided into two parts, that is the conducting part and the exchange part. The conducting part includes nostrils, pharynx, larynx, tracheas, and the exchange part includes the alveoli. So now let us see what are the steps in respiration. So now we have understood what is respiration, which are the parts involved in respiration. Now let's see how respiration takes place, as in which are the steps which are involved in the process of respiration. So breathing, in which oxygen rich air is diffused in the carbon rich alveolar air breathing in which oxygen rich atmospheric air is diffused in and carbon rich alveolar air is diffused out. That is the process of breathing, wherein the alveoli will take in the oxygen and carbon dioxide will be given out. Then diffusion of gases across alveolar membrane, then the transport of gases by blood, then diffusion of carbon between blood and the tissue, then utilization by cells to obtain energy and release carbon dioxide to cellular respiration. Okay, so these are the steps in the respiration of human beings. Then let us see the mechanism of breathing. So breathing involves respiration and inspiration and expiration. During inspiration, atmospheric air is drawn in, and during expiration, alveolar air is released out. So here CO2 is taken in and CO2 is given out. Then movement of air in and out takes place due to the difference in the pressure gradient, and inspiration occurs when pressure inside the lungs is less. So if the pressure inside the lungs is less, then it will cause what? Inspiration, that is taking in of oxygen. Expiration occurs when the pressure in the lungs is more. If there is more pressure, then eventually it has to be given out. So that is how expiration is caused. Then the diaphragm and the external and the internal intercostal muscles between the ribs helps in developing pressure gradient due to the change in volume. The contraction of intercostal muscle lifts the ribs and the sternum, causing an increase in volume of increase in the volume of thoracic cavity, that results in decrease in pressure than the atmospheric pressure. This causes inspiration. So this is how inspiration is caused. A relaxation of the diaphragm and the intercostal muscle reduces the thyroid volume and increases the pressure, causing expiration. The volume of air involved in breathing movement is estimated by using spirometer for clinical assessment of pulmonary function. Okay, so spirometer is used in seeing the breathing movement. This is a device. So this is how inspiration and expiration takes place in human beings. See, when the air enters, the diaphragm will move down, the ribs will move out, and that will cause what? Inspiration. And in expiration, what? The ribs moves in, the air moves out, and diaphragm moves what? Towards the lungs, and this will cause what? Expiration. So now let us see how to calculate the respiratory volume and capacity. How it is calculated, or how it is determined, the respiratory volume and capacities. So the first one is tidal volume, that is TV. This means volume of air inspired or expired during a normal respiration. It is about 500 ml in healthy men. Then comes this is your first way of measuring. Then comes your inspiratory reverse volume, that is IRV, additional volume of air a person can inspire by forceful inspiration. This is about 2500 ml to 3000 ml. Then comes your third one, that is expiratory reverse volume, that is ERV, additional volume of air a person can expire by forceful expiration. It is about 1000 ml to 1100 ml. Then comes your residual volume. Residual volume is the volume of air remaining in the lungs even after a forceful expiration. It is about 1100 to 1200 ml. Then comes your inspiratory capacity, that is IC. IC is equal to TV plus IRV. TV is your tidal volume and IRV is the inspiratory reserve volume. This will give you what? Your inspiratory capacity. Then expiratory capacity, it is TV plus ERV, that is your expiratory reserve volume. Then comes the functional residual capacity, that which can be calculated by IRV plus adding ERV, that is your expiratory reserve volume, plus RV, that is the residual volume. Then comes your 6th, 7th, vital capacity. So the maximum volume of air a person can breathe in after a forceful expiration, that can be calculated by adding your ERV plus TV plus IRV. Then comes your last, total lung capacity. So how your total lung capacity can be calculated is the total volume of air accommodated in lung at the end of forced inspiration, that is RV plus ERV plus TV plus IRV, or vital capacity plus residual volume. So this is how the respiratory volume and capacities can be calculated using these parameters. So in our today's class, what we have learned is the breathing process, So in our today's class, what we have learned is the breathing process, the human respiratory system, then the mechanism and the steps involved in respiration. And we have also seen how to calculate the respiratory volume and capacities. So thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe.